guys, this, to me, is what all the fuss is about. Our little hip world and our little bus. And I know I've told the story before a couple times, but as we're headed down to Luck, and we're headed down to South by Southwest, and we're headed out for one of our first good showcases with our trailer, and the season kickoff and everything else we've got in store this year, it seems pertinent to give a little catch up, you know? So, again, we found her out in a field. She's a little 81 Chevy van. Can you believe that? Chevy bus. Went out and was built by Superior, and when we found her, she said Arkansas Razorbacks. She had Arkansas Razorbacks all over the sides, the front, everywhere. I guess she was an auxiliary bus or something. And we have pulled everything out and filled it with hemp. And right now, I'm in the middle of doing another part of a tear out, because everything goes in phases. You do what you can, especially when you're doing and funding it yourself. And so we still had some of this bad, icky insulation in here. That's the old fiberglass yucky stuff. And so I got to get it out. And as a bus learner, you find out, well, the ceiling has to come out in order for the walls to come off. So I had to take the ceiling down again. But it turns out to be okay anyway. I had missed a step that, again, learning in a schoolie, there's things you got to learn, and there needs to be a special barrier in there that I'll show you guys as we put it back together. And then we've got these beautiful hempwood floors. Can I see that? Does that show these off? Can you see them? They're a little dirty. Mine are a little dirty right now. The bus is in mid-rebuild, but look how pretty those are. Aren't they so pretty? So people come in and they see these beautiful stairs, and they see that beautiful floor, and then they see the hemp insulation, and we show them samples and stuff, but they kind of just walk through the bus, and then we have the door open, and we got a little caution thing here, and we kind of keep somebody in here trying to warn them, and that's where the person who's kind of talking to them tries to stay. And then they can step down because there's a back porch that comes out, and if they want to know more, then we've built, and I'm in the middle of building and finishing out, and I know it looks a little rough right now, but it's a little studio trailer. And so I still just got to put the front panel on and a couple things, but the frame's in and the structure's in and a bunch of our materials inside. And the idea is, if you like what you see when you get to see the practical uses of hemp, you know, because you don't really see, how am I going to use this in my life? And then you can touch it, you can experience it, you can see it right there. And the bus, you know, that kind of sustainability. We pulled an old 81 bus out and did this. Eventually we'll maybe even get her converted to electric, biodiesel, and who knows, but one step at a time, right? And then you'll be able to step inside here, and as I get it finished up, there'll be a full-blown studio and kind of display area and store. And so I can give you information about all the hemp stuff. You can learn about it. You can find out where you can go to get your hemp insulation, which is hempatexture.com. That's where you should go check them out. These guys are really good, and they're doing a lot of stuff right now, so you should get involved in that. And then our flooring comes in from Hempwood Flooring, and so you can find them, and simple as that, just hempwood.com. And they've got a bunch of different varieties of stuff you can get, but the flooring is what we get to showcase right now. I hope eventually we can put in some stair treads and maybe some tabletops and a few other things. But again, just one little hippie on a mission. And guys, I don't have any financing, so I'm trying to finance this trip down here to Luck. I think I might just barely be able to squeeze this in and out. If we do get a vendor pass, it's going to be a little different. I might have to see what the universe opens up. But anyway, so yeah, so right now that's all open, but it's going to be framed, and I pull my little Carmen Gia up here. I wonder if you can see her through there. You can see her little nose poking out. And on some adventures, she probably won't make this one with us. She can ride around in here, and that way when we get somewhere, we can drive around and do stuff, and the bus can stay set up and everything. And then when we're at a place, preferably like when we're at South by Southwest, again, we won't get to take her this time, she can go with us, and we'll just kind of set up the bus and separate the trailer out, pull out the porch. Again, there's an awning, goes all the way down the side. There's a walk-on railing, or a walk-on deck with railings. There's another back porch comes out back here, matches the bottom one that comes out. And then we've got a setup that puts stairs on it, so you can actually use stairs to go up it instead of a ladder. The ladder's just for my use. And then it's really down to almost just putting the skinning on this, which should just take a couple days once we get to it, and our trailer will be ready to go and go down the road. And so we set her up, and then we can open the ramp and we can pull Carmen out, and then she's really pretty. And so people see us sitting there, they want to know what's going on. We can show them all the hemp stuff, and I think that's good. The more we show people and the more we educate people about the hemp and all the ways you can get it in your life, you know, get this bad stuff out. Hempwood flooring is comparable to any hardwood flooring, but the thing is, it's not made with all the bad products and all the VOCs and stuff. And one of the biggest products on the market right now is this luxury vinyl flooring. And what they don't tell you about that is it's just layers and layers and layers of PVC. It's plastic, and it's toxic, and it releases toxic chemicals just sitting in your house. That's right. You put this beautiful floor in and you're like, oh yeah, look, and it's so smooth, it's pretty. And your kids are climbing around on it, and if you've got infants, you're like, oh, it's so great, they can crawl around on it. Well, guess what? You don't know it, but they're picking up poisons. So you can change that. We can change that. And the more of us who change that, the easier it is to change. Because when a product's new on the market, it's a little expensive. Right now they're comparable with the highest, well, not the highest, but they're comparable with hardwoods. But the more of us who purchase it, the more we make a demand for it, the more it'll go up, and then it'll come back down. And then eventually we can replace all this bad stuff with good stuff. And that's the same with the hemp insulation. You know, hemp wool insulation is naturally grown. It's natural fibers. It's got so many good benefits, it's almost impossible to list them without just spending like a half hour sounding like Bubba Gump, off of Forrest Gump. Because it's non-toxic. It is mildew resistant. It's fire resistant. It's mold resistant. Just growing it is great for the planet. I mean, there's so much stuff that's just amazing about it. And you're stuck doing this stuff where you have these toxic chemicals in your house, this itchy fiberglass, yuckiness, or whatever else, and we don't have to have that anymore. And they're building and trying to make it available for everybody, and the more of us who get it, the easier it'll get for everybody to get it. So that's why we spread the knowledge. And that's the same with Willie's CBDs. People sometimes don't realize you need CBDs. I know that seems silly. A lot of people are like, oh, blah, 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 no. Check it up. Check it out. You have an endocannabinoid system. And I say this a lot because this is what I do. I like to educate people. You have an endocannabinoid system. You can look it up. And it needs endocannabinoids. It just needs them. It doesn't cooperate. It doesn't operate right. It runs your neurons and all your... There's a lot of stuff it does. Again, I could spend hours on it. Sometimes you don't want to smoke a CBD. You don't want to even smoke a CBD doobie. You don't want to smoke. And that's okay. Not everybody needs to smoke. But there's other ways to get your CBDs. And so Willie's Reserve, they can get you your smokables and your medicals. But Willie's Remedy, they get you your CBDs. And you can get your coffee, you can get your teas, or if you want, you can just get your tincture and just put a couple drops under your tongue. They've got balm. You'd be surprised. You can rub it on, and it's great for pain. It's amazing stuff. And you don't have to believe me. You can look it up. But we try to carry it around and show people. Because, again, not everybody knows all this. And so we try and present it in a fun and entertaining way. Something that looks cool, so you can go, wow, I could see that. Because who doesn't think about living in a little bus traveling around? And when she has her full RV kit in and everything, it's pretty cozy. I mean, for those of us who have followed all the way across the country and back, you saw us camping in Erie, Pennsylvania in a snowstorm. Remember? And we were totally cozy and fine inside there through the whole snowstorm. Watched everybody get buried in and then waited for everybody to get cleared out. And then a couple days later, we drove away. That's the beauty of hemp, guys. And the more of us who share it, and the more of us who find it and buy it and get it in our lives, the more we can get the bad stuff out. So I know this is a little long, but it's important. So that's what I'm doing today, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. I got to get a few more things going, and then over the next couple weeks we got to get ready, because we've got to get down to South by Southwest so we can spread the hemp knowledge. And we got to make more scenes, because this year, just for the fun of it, I decided, why not make a movie about our adventures and going out and trying to share and tell people about HWP World, and see how many people we can get to find out about it, how many people we can get to think it's cool and share it with other people. HWP World is basically the idea that we're all better together, you and I. And if we had a voice we could use together, that might be better too. So we share what each other does, because believe it or not, what you do is amazing and needed to somebody. You might not think that, but there's somebody out there who is in the same boat somewhere, and your story is beneficial to them, and their story would be beneficial to you. And the more we all share this stuff, the more we help each other, and the more we break down social barriers and show each other that we're all alike. I travel all over the country, and I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of diversity, but there's a lot of similarities. I mean, as much as we find unique and different things, all diverse, we find these amazing things that are all similar. You know, I run into people all the time, all the way across the country, and I'm like, that is so much like this person from back home, or all these different things. And that's the beauty of it, you know? And some people are musicians, and they make beautiful music. And some people are musicians, and they just make quiet music when we're all hanging out together. I personally can't play good enough that I'll do it any more than with a few close friends. But there's people like Micah and Lucas and Willie and Jackie, Vincent, and Haley Hendricks, and all these beautiful musicians out there, and they're sharing their art with us, and I think that's awesome. Music unites us all, but art unites us too. So I have other friends, like my friend Stacy. She's a photographer, and so she's sharing her story and her image and her view of the world. And man, if it isn't colorful and beautiful and unique, guys. And to me, that's what it's about, you know. My friend Jess, she's out in California, little Midwest girl, took out to California because she wanted to know how to do tattooing and do it in a style, you know, that she had seen and envisioned, and something big and grand. And it's not that you can't do that here in the middle of the Missouri, but you're not going to do it like you are out in San Diego and get to see it and share your art. And her art's beautiful. And I've got friends here in Missouri who do beautiful art too. Everything from jewelry to paintings to tapestries, you name it. And my sis out doing her art and putting it on t-shirts and whatever else she wanted on. So you can even take your art and put it on something and share it with people too. Isn't that cool? That's what I think is neat. We're finally at a point where maybe our society can change to a system where just sharing you can make it okay. You'd be like, what? I can live off just sharing me? Well, there's enough stuff out there that all of us need to know, want to share, and all those things. And these platforms, they want content. So if we share with each other, they get content. We get to build a better world together. And I guess they pay us for it. And the more we build a brand together, the more we pull something together that says, hey, I stand for us, not just for making a bunch of money. I mean, not saying money's not needed or money's not important, but I've always been told you make the art and the money will take care of itself. And I run into a lot of problems in life because I'm trying to build something and it takes money. And everybody's like, man, what you're doing, how do you get money? How do you get money? How do you get money? I don't know. All I know is I have a message I want to share. So I'll dedicate everything I got until maybe it gets big enough it shows me how it's going to make money. I hope at some point maybe our message is enough. People will be like, hey, we want you to come to our events and tell us about hemp. We want you to tell us about ways to get the bad out and the good in. We want you to show us a showcase where we're at so we don't have to go somewhere else to find out about it. You know, that's kind of important to me. A lot of times people only find out about this stuff at certain events that they go to. You go to the hemp event, you find out about hemp. But do you find out about it at a concert? Well, you can if we're there. We can be sitting at Rocklahoma. We can be sitting at, well, maybe Luck Reunion if we're fortunate enough. We could be sitting anywhere, at any event, any festival. There's Nelson Ledge's Quarry. And we can turn around and share all these things with people. And we can share these places so you guys can go see them. I mean, I think that's the beauty of it all. I love traveling. I go to national parks, and I love national parks. I love the beauty. Again, that's something we all share. It's like ours. And I'm like, oh, look at our park. Isn't that awesome? And when we're there, people want to know. You can't see this and not just be like, that's cool. And when you see that there's logos on the side and stuff like that, you're like, what's going on? Well, I'm showing people all the hemp. You want to see some hemp? And then they come in and they do. And they're like, holy cow, you mean I can get the bad stuff out of my life? And it's like right there? And I'm like, right there. And if we're at an event, they can go back there and we'll be able to share their stories with people. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe they want to do a podcast. Maybe they just want to do a video diary and they just want to say something. I don't know. That's the beauty of it. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's just build this together like we have been and see where it takes us. I think it's going to take us someplace beautiful. I think it'll take us to a happy, wholesome, and peaceful world, a hip world. And it's going to take us there together. So I'm Johnny, guys, and I've had a great day. I am working, even though it's a little chilly. I got to do some welding on our little trailer, a couple small things so we can get her skinned up. And it's our little hip world, and there's our little Starla, and we're out.